Today, we're taking the Triumph out for a drive. Finally, yes. This is my 1961 TR3A. If you look at his face, it's because it's actually his. It's just with me for safekeeping at the moment. But we are going where? The Southwest Wildlife Conservatory for a tour given by my lovely wife. And you may say, why are you taking this car?
Because it's a great off-road.
There is a dirt road for half a mile to get there, and two reasons really. One, this car is the dirtiest because it hasn't been cleaned after storage, and the other reason is I think this is the only one that will get down the road out of all my cars. It's this has got more road clearance than anybody else, so shocks away. You can be cameraman. What a good cameraman. So do we have everything that we're supposed to have?
I think so.
Right. Hat. Funny hat. You have to have a funny hat when you drive this car. The Triumph TR3 was produced from 1955 to 1962 with just under 75,000 examples being sold. This particular car is what was called a TR3A, even though the TR3A designation never officially existed. It was a mid-model facelift, if you like, of the TR3. This one is a 1961. I have no clue when it was really built. 1961 was when it was first registered. It has a 1991cc engine which produces a whopping 95 brake horsepower. It's a four-cylinder inline engine with twin SU carbs.
But we'll get there, okay?
This road, though short, really was a test for the car. It was very dusty and bone-jarring. The car was rattling like crazy, and I really was worried that things were going to be falling off it. I think we're going to have to check this afterwards to make sure we've still got everything we started out. The TR3 was notable for being the first British production car to have disc brakes, so it actually stops pretty well. This example has the very desirable electric overdrive, so there is a little switch you can flick on the dash, and that will engage the overdrive, which drops the revs a little bit. And interestingly, it works in second, third and fourth gears, so it's actually quite useful and makes the car quite sporty if you need an extra half gear for a quick gear change. The car survived the ride just about, but I think we have to count all its bits when we get back home because that was very bumpy. We saw mountain lions, we saw bobcats, we saw quadamani, javelin, a horse, and a cat. This car is your actual barn find. I was looking for a second car back in 1987, I think it was, and I came across this ad for a TR3 in the Gazette, the local paper in Montreal, and it was somebody who'd been restoring the car, but they'd either run out of patience, money or desire. But I went to see this guy that had it, and it was in a little town called Howick near Ormstown in Quebec, way in the middle of farming country. And this car was half built, it had been painted, and he insisted that all the parts were there in boxes. And of course, you never ever take on somebody else's restoration project. But I did, and true to his word, all the pieces were there. The only thing I had to buy for it was a battery. Make some content while I'm
not a content creator.
It's got the gloves on. Not the easiest of cars to get in. Suit up. And I'm sure in an accident these belts would do absolutely nothing. They just slow you down a bit. Right. Truck's away. Let's go.
By the way, these mirrors are useless.
Yeah, I know, but it's still nice to have them pointing vaguely in the right direction. The paint on it when I got it wasn't that great, and with it being used as a daily driver in the summer in Montreal, it started to look a little tatty, and I did have the body repainted in a non-standard, very fine metallic color a little over 10 years ago, so it's standing up pretty well. Its performance is leisurely, I think is the best phrase to use. 0 to 60 is around 12 seconds. And despite only having 95 horsepower, it only weighs a touch over 2,000 pounds. So it's actually not that bad. It's a lot of fun to drive. The steering is very vague. It needs a new steering box. I actually bought this car as a gift for my son when he was born. And the idea was that I would restore it and he would have it when he turned 21. He's now 32, and one day he will take possession of the car just as soon as he's got a suitable place to keep it. But in the meantime, he comes to visit it, he drives it every time he's here, and I am its custodian for the time being. It's a lovely little car. It's a little rough around the edges. It's not a competition-winning restoration. I did most of it myself apart from the paint. And it's a little scruffy, but it's meant to be driven, and we do drive it and enjoy it immensely. It survived. Another successful trip. We saw this beautiful mountain lion at the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Centre. I would highly recommend a visit if you are ever in this area. The organisation is a non-profit that rescues native wild animals that have lost their homes to development or are found injured, orphaned or abandoned, and wherever possible, they are rehabilitated and released. But for those that cannot survive in the wild, they live out their lives in their sanctuary. It's a really remarkable place to see these wild animals up close. If you enjoy these videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button below. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.